So I've been vegan for 22 years. My parents went vegan sometime between my conception and my birth, and they're not hippies. They became vegetarian first off because logically they thought that if they were going to consider themselves as moral and ethical people, then they shouldn't contribute to the widespread slaughter of animals every day. And then veganism was the next logical step when they found out about the cruelty with the dairy and egg industry. I'm pretty sure they probably would have got a lot of negative responses about the decision to feed their children a vegan diet, but my parents are the kind of people who will research everything. So with their decision to bring my sister and I up vegan, I'm pretty sure they would have been completely confident in their research and that it was the right thing and an okay thing to do. And they were right, the experiment worked. I said that to my mum the other day and she was horrified at the idea of us being an experiment, but I kind of like the idea because it worked. We are completely healthy, we've never suffered from any serious illnesses. I haven't visited a doctor pretty much since I got my vaccinations when I was a kid, and we don't particularly pay attention to what we eat either. I mean, we have a balanced diet, like we try and eat as many varieties of vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans as we can, but that's more to do with how much we like veggies and fruit and beans. Like, I couldn't really tell you what it is I eat that has calcium or protein or any other kind of thing that people think vegans are deficient in. So the idea that vegans have to be extra careful with their diet and with what they eat, I really think is not true at all. The main question I usually get is, did I feel I was missing out on anything when I grew up? And the answer is not really. There is so much accidentally vegan junk food out there, even when I was growing up. Another question I also get asked a lot is, have I ever wanted to try meat or dairy? And no, I haven't. I don't really understand why anyone would want to eat them. They are literally dead carcasses of animals and another species' milk. And I'd probably get really sick if I ate meat or dairy. And asking that question to me is kind of like asking anyone else, oh, have you ever really wanted to try murdering someone? Another thing I wanted to add is that my family aren't activists at all. Growing up, we never got taught statistics or got shown videos of animal cruelty. So I did grow up not really understanding the enormity of veganism as an issue as a whole. I didn't really find out about the environmental aspects or the health aspects until maybe a few years ago when I started following vegan blogs on Tumblr. And I suppose that kind of shock realization moment that most people have to turn vegan didn't really happen to me until I started working at a normal cafe. I was really lucky to work at a vegan cafe as one of my first jobs. I got made redundant from there because I began to get too old and cost too much, basically. So earlier this year I got a job at a normal cafe, as I didn't really have any other option, and I didn't really understand what I was getting myself into. The amount of dead animal that cafe served up to its customers just astonished me and it horrified me, and the smell of bacon and scrambled eggs still just kind of haunts me. Working there kind of affected me more than anything else ever has. Just the realization of how oblivious most of the world is to what they're consuming and how much of it they are consuming. Thankfully now I work at a newspaper, so I don't have to deal with food. It was kind of a turning point for me when I realized that I don't just want to be vegan, I want to try and to kind of really turn the world into the place that I thought it was when I was growing up. It's kind of like I've grown up into this place that is disgusting and horrible and cruel and accepts that animals die every day without doing anything about it, and it kind of bewilders me how much people don't understand. Probably the best thing about having grown up vegan is that it's just second nature to me. Probably the negative part of having grown up vegan is I don't feel very qualified in telling people how to become vegan because I never had to go through that process of connecting and understanding and changing my diet and changing my thought processes or changing the products that I use. That's all just been done for me, basically, which is amazing, but it does make me feel like I have a harder time at activism. And if I bring up veganism to someone I don't know, the first thing they will ask is, how long have you been vegan? And when I say, well, my whole life, then that becomes more of just a spectacle and a curiosity rather than a discussion in ethics or why I am vegan, because people just say, well, she's vegan because her parents are vegan. So I thought I'd attempt to start trying to make videos about veganism. I'm not sure how successful I'll be because I work full time, so I don't have a lot of time to do things outside of that. And I thought I'd first start with talking about growing up vegan because it's something that's pretty unusual. So yeah, I hope that was in some way insightful or helpful to anyone watching. Okay, bye.